Hello.
Hi.
Hi, welcome back.
Thank you.
Um, all right, let's jump right into it because I can't lie, I have such a busy day ahead of me.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm going on a cruise tomorrow, so it's like last minute everything. I have to like pack and yeah, all that stuff. Um, okay. Hello, my spooky scaries, and welcome back to the final pod, where I talk all things spooky all the time. I'm your host, Ezra Rivers, joined by my lovely guest, Matthew Preston, yet again. And this is the finale of season one for the final pod, and I'm actually really excited. Um, it's it's interesting and like cool and fun that like I even really stuck to this whole idea and the content creating and actually getting a response from people, and having guest on it and really talk with people about horror and the thing that I truly love. So yeah, it's been fun. I'm not gonna get sappy. It's the last episode. It's just gonna be light, and that's why I think I chose the scary movie franchise and kind of horror comedy. Where it's at, where it's going, and how it really ties into making the subgenre of horror comedy versus a horror movie that just has comedy in it, because I definitely believe that they're two different things. Um, and yeah, hey Matt.
So there better be a season two, or are we gonna end on a cliffhanger?
Oh no no no, we're season two is coming. Season two is coming. Don't
Yay! Hello, hello. Thanks for
worry.
having me back.
um, what I'm gonna just jump right into it and say, what do you think about um kind of what I mentioned, right? Like the subgenre of like a comedy horror versus horror that just has comedic elements to it. Like, do you think it works? Do you think it's fun? Do you kind of enjoy like franchises like Scary Movie, or are they like not really your thing?
All I have to say to that is, Cindy, the TV's leaking. Like, I love it. I,
I
I,
mean,
I quote, and I think that the reason why I love Scary Movie, the franchise, first off, I remember that my dad had to give permission for me and my friends to go see it in the year 2000 in the theater. I what was I doing in that theater watching that movie? I do not know, but it was hilarious. But Brenda is an icon. She
no,
is an
she really
icon.
is.
She's a gay icon. She is a GIF icon. She is iconic.
I I think Brenda is one of the funniest characters in any franchise that I've ever experienced. Um, I for sure hope that with this like sixth film that we'll talk about as we kind of go down the line, brings back the whole legacy concept that we have now in horror and like kind of makes fun of it by bringing back Brenda and Cindy. I'm a little wary about how it's gonna work because I don't really want. I feel like Scary Movie was what it was for like the really dry and like almost crude humor, right? Like it really made fun of the horror movies and it was very unapologetic. And I feel like where we are with like the time today would really piss me off if we don't get the same kind of movie.
For real. No, I definitely agree because it came out in that time with the Mad TV comedy
Oh
of
my god.
everybody could get it because they not only really quote unquote took a stab at the horror genre, but they were celebrities that they were just like, they were cutting up. Oh my God, I'm doing it again. They were cutting up celebrities left and right in this franchise. So it just, yeah, I agree with you. I don't I don't want it unless it's done right. Because if it's not done right, and if this is like a today's kind of PC comedy, then throw it in the fire because I don't want it.
Yeah, I agree. And I also don't want it to be like too woke, and I hope nobody comes at me for that because yes, we should all be woke. But you know what I mean, where it takes it just it removes the comedy of it and it makes it too political. And I think when you make something too political, it forces people to have a stand against it and it loses like the value of what it is, which is just a really stupid horror movie in a sense. Um,
Exactly.
and so I'm looking forward to it. But I don't know. For me personally, I want to know what your favorite one is of the. I'm gonna include the fifth one, even though for me it really shouldn't be included because I hated it. That's the one where I don't think anyone came back for it really, except no, I don't think anyone came back for it. It was like an all new
Oh,
cast.
yeah. Wasn't it like Ashley Tisdale?
Yeah, and no disrespect to Ashley Tisdale, I love her,
No.
like, but it was just I didn't like it at all. So, but out of all five, I would say, which one is your favorite?
I think it's a toss for me between one and three.
Oh, really?
Maybe three, but I think I saw them both in the theater, and I remember with the third, whenever, again, going back to Brenda, with Simon Rex's character, they're like, "Oh, your teacher's alive," and that whole casket scene. Oh, it's just so
True.
funny. I died for that. That sent, as the kids say, that sent me.
No, that's really true. And now that you mentioned that one, yeah, I really like that one, but I think my favorite would have to be the second one. Like,
Really?
and a toss up with the first one, obviously, because it's the one that kicks everything off. But yeah, I don't know. I think one for me, the second one was kind of gross in the sense of like we have well what he was the butler and with his like
From Schitt's, the actor from Schitt's Creek.
yes with his like hand and he's like
Take the good
oh
hand. Take the
yes
good hand. Oh my God, yes.
and that for me always grossed me out but in like the best comedic way in the sense of would I actually grab that hand like if I'm hanging for my
No.
life I don't know if I could do it and
He just drops it. That's, yeah.
yeah like I feel like I would have to just drop
Oh my
um
God.
but yeah I think the only scene in that movie that I don't like because I don't find it funny is in the opening when the priest is in the bathroom and he's like taking a shit and all the flies are like attaching to his face. I don't think it's like as funny as the rest of the movie.
Well,
Um,
it's funny because doesn't that happen in the original?
so I
Like the original spoof, not the original horror film, like the in The Exorcist. That actually that's what happens with the flies and stuff. Because that's why I love it. Is because you kind of go back and you're like, oh, that did happen in the original version that they are spoofing, but they're just making it stupider.
yeah, and I yes I believe it did. And I think he was in the bathroom, but I think it was like one fly or like a few flies. And then in like scary movie, they have him sitting there with like a whole fly hive around his head. Um, okay, so I think yeah, I don't know. I think for me the second one was it it also kind of creeped me out. Like I said, like you have even the Exorcist opening. I was like, wow, this is almost besides like the humor part of it, it's almost like shot for shot of the film, which was like so cool to me because I felt with Scream while in the first one they did do very much like keep the scenes almost shot for shot basically. I think just having the opening be so prominently connected to the original source material was really cool. And then I don't know, I thought it was really funny the Charlie's Angels spoof that they give.
Right?
I thought that was so hilarious, and I was like a Charlie's Angels like the two films with like Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu, Cameron Diaz. Um, I love those movies. Like you have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Also, what I really, really appreciate is how each film they really kind of take the time to say like, they give off their like these are the movies that we are spoofing. So in Scream or in Scary Movie One, they were Scream One. I Know What You Did Last Summer, sort of like those teen slasher movies. And then Scary Movie 2, it was more of like The Exorcist. Scary Movie 3, it was The Ring. Scary
Oh
Movie
God,
4, it was
yes.
Saw. Scary Movie 5, I think that they were trying to spoof Paranormal Activity, if my memory
Yes.
serves me correct. And then that makes me think, what would this Scary Movie 6, what would the movies be that they are parroting? Because usually that's what makes this whole series so successful. So I have to think, like, what iconic horror movies of today would they be spoofing? Or could
Well,
they
I'm,
spoof?
I'm actually so glad that you brought that up because I do, like I say all the time, I'm very into like the Twitter sphere aspect of like the horror community. Um, there's like rumors going around that Melissa Barrera from Scream 5 and 6, who plays Samantha Carpenter, who was fired from Scream 7 because of her political standpoint with like Palestine and Gaza. And we won't get into that. It's not a political channel, but give that woman a fucking break and just let her believe in what she believes in and let her work. Anyway, um, they're saying that she is kind of like in talks to be part of the sixth film. So where that takes my mind is they're gonna play off of like the Lego sequel and like the remakes and reboots that we're getting now because that's basically what every movie that comes out is. It's a remake or a reboot or a reimagining of a previous film. Um, so I feel like they're gonna lean very heavily into that as being like, and if they do sign her and they do bring her on, then she may be like the new quote unquote Sydney, who's the parody of Sydney Prescott. Um, so I think that's what they're gonna do, and then with that, they're gonna be able to bring back like Brenda and Cindy Anna Faris and any other kind of big character in the franchise that stands out. Obviously, the brothers. Um, and so I think that's where my head is kind of sitting. And I feel like they'll make fun of like Scream, Halloween had like Jamie Lee Curtis 40 years later, so we'll probably get like an older version of a character or something. That's kind of where I feel like they're gonna go. Fun of like Megan and um I mean, we just got that movie Abigail, which is like about a vampire ballerina who supposedly is Dracula's daughter, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be thrown in there. So I think they're going to capitalize on the Lego sequel remakes that are going around, and also include any like blockbuster movie that comes out within that time frame.
I read that same article with Melissa, and one of the best comments was, "I really hope that if she does sign on, she's in the movie for about 40 minutes and then just gets fired and leaves." Like, that would, oh my God, that would have been, that would be so hilarious to, like, she says something smart and something very like political, or even some, just something that just really calls to what happened, and they just, like, bring that to light, but make light of it, and then she just leaves, and then, yeah, no, I totally almost forgot about, like, how they brought back Halloween and all that. I was thinking, like, would Terrifier be the one? Would they, like, bring, like, an
Oh my
Art the Clown kind of thing?
god, that
Or,
movie grosses
like,
me
but
out.
Megan, yeah, definitely. Megan was, like, such a huge hit. Um, I don't know, yeah.
Like they're
But
definitely gonna have a little Megan doll dancing around and doing that viral dance. Like I already see it.
yes, yeah, no, totally. Totally. But also, I really didn't they, in, like, I want to say maybe 2014 to 2015, they had like a movie. It was a Wayans brother movie, I believe. It was called, like, Scarier Movie or something. Not Scarier Movie, or, like, I can't
Oh,
think of the
wasn't
girl
it
from
like?
Awkward. You know what I'm talking about? The girl from Awkward was in it, playing the daughter in this movie,
Um.
and it was very much like, it was like a takeoff of Abigail the doll.
Oh, Annabelle. Oh yes, that's
Annabelle, not Abigail, Annabelle.
Oh
See,
my god,
see,
wasn't it
this
like
is why
Haunted
they need to
House?
change that name. They need to change that name, because Abigail, Annabelle. There's too many A's and Bells and Bales and Gales and change the name.
That was a haunted house.
A haunted house. That's is it a haunted house?
Yes,
Was
it
it?
has to be.
Then now that one makes me think of like, was it that one or was it the Disney one? Well, yeah, that movie was hilarious too. Just because like I feel like with horror, you can make it funny, and also I think that there's like that like safety of it of like okay, you're not gonna be scared, you're gonna laugh. It's not for like to scare you, whereas there is that like that comedy in horror films of like for example Thanksgiving. I
Oh, I love that
remember when I
movie.
was in the theater watching it and how how like some of the deaths were. They were like, "Oh my God!" The audience laughed and that was so funny and things like that. Whereas this is more slapstick comedy, and you're just like, "Okay, we're laughing because this is actually hilarious," and not like, "Oh my God, I'm going to be scared," and "Oh, that's so gross." But I can see how it's funny.
Well, talk for yourself because Scary Movie 2 scared the hell out of me when I saw it. Watching that Exorcist opening was horrifying. Even though it was funny, it was scary as hell. And that man's hand is nightmare fuel. Like I don't I don't care how old you are. I don't care what the premise is or what anything is going on. That man's hand is terrifying. At least to me. But I don't know. I think I have a love for these types of movies just because they play on the movies that I love in horror. Um, Definitely I'll watch the new one depending on like who's in it and really what's going on. Um, but I'm more of like a horror that just has comedy elements in it. Kind of like I don't know because I kind of feel like yeah. No, kind of like Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Have you seen that?
I have not, but I want to see
Oh,
it. I recently just had a conversation with my coworker about that movie because it was some I'm trying to think of what other movie I was. Oh, I was talking about Drop Dead Gorgeous, which is such a dark comedy, but if you think about it, it kind of has some horror aspects to it because these girls one by one are getting picked off by an unknown assailant.
I mean, yeah, that's definitely horror for me.
Exactly. But it was marked as like a, as a dark comedy.
Got it. Um, I'm super disappointed and sad that you have not seen Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. I'm
It's
not
on
gonna
my
let that
list.
go. It needs to be higher on your list. I don't think it's high enough.
I will tell you that the two past movies, the horror movies I saw of recent, Night Swim and Paranormal Activity 6. And it was funny because with Paranormal Activity 6, we had like a little mini movie night with some friends, and our one friend who had never seen even like one movie, one film of it, or because there's six of them. And I
Yeah.
remember saying, "Oh, don't worry. I don't think you have to like know the story because I hadn't seen the other five. There was like for me like a 3 or 4 year gap since I saw it, but then it came back to me, and I was like, "Oh wait, yeah, you got to know
Yeah,
things."
you do. I was just gonna say, I'm like, I think Paranormal Activity is one of the most like intricate horror franchises that you absolutely have to see all of them. If you want to understand the story, then yes. If you just want to be scared by a haunting in a haunted house kind of thing, then no. But yeah, if you're one of those people, I guess like us, who really actually pay attention to movies, then I would say you have to.
Or Wikipedia. Wikipedia is always good because they will tell you everything. I always like go back. I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's right. That's who that was."
True. We love a good Wikipedia search. I mean, why not, right? Why not just ruin all the fun of watching the movies? Um, I was gonna mention something, and oh, Night Swim. So I know it's not horror comedy, but it is horror, and this is a horror podcast, so whatever. I actually haven't seen it, so I do want to know your opinion on it because I think I've watched maybe like the first 10 minutes and I was like, dumbest movie ever. Like, don't want to watch this. Makes no sense. I would not be scared of the pool. And if something was in the pool, I would get out of the pool before whatever it is got me. And
I think
so
that's
for,
hilarious. You're just like, you know what? But also, I bet you if they were to spoof this in Scary Movie 6, it would be hilarious. Like somebody would just be like, I'm gonna stay in here. You know, I can see like Brenda being like, oh, there's dead bodies in here, but it's a free pool. I'm gonna swim in here.
very true.
You
Very true. And
know?
I think that would make me
Yeah,
want to like it.
I liked it. I thought that it was okay. It wasn't like super scary. There were like some like tense moments. But I remember whenever I was like trying to call it. I was like, okay, I'm calling it now. Somebody drowned in this pool, and their spirit is taken over, and then a new family,
I
and
mean,
then
yeah.
I was
Is
right
that
about a
not
lot of
it?
things. Yes, I was right about a lot of things, but there were other aspects of it where I was like, oh, that's freaky.
Really? Like that? I think that's my thing. It's like, how do you make a swimming pool scary? Like, I
Well,
mean,
they did. Well, they did, and they did.
I could understand like the whole like fear of what waits at like the bottom of the ocean because you can't physically see it. But I feel like unless your pool is like really dirty, you should just be able to see what's at the bottom. And maybe that's just me being like an asshole to just like a fun concept of a movie because that's absolutely true for me as well. I am an asshole sometimes and can't just have fun at a movie, but like I don't know. I watched the first, like I said, I think I watched the first 10 minutes, however long the like intro is, with the girl and like her slipper or whatever in the pool. Like, or there's something in the pool, whatever. First of all, whatever it is, you should be asleep. It's really not that serious. Like, I think you can wait till the morning to when you can be like, hey, mom, hey, dad, can you get this from the pool? That's one.
Well, all I'm gonna say to that is, of course, as you know, with horror movies, there's always some sort of mystery aspect to it, and it's a mystery, and you got to go back and see why it happened the way that it happened, because of course, you know, they go back to it.
Oh, okay. See, that makes me a little more intrigued because I feel like for me, when I watched it the first time, those 10 minutes, I was like, okay, so now we're gonna just move on to the family. They're gonna find out like bits and pieces, but we're just gonna
Yeah,
take that as like the first kill.
yeah, and also going back to the Scary Movie franchise, what is really interesting about it is, so for example, Scary Movie 1. We've all seen Scream 1, hopefully, and if you haven't, you
Then you
must.
should not be listening to this podcast if you haven't
Exactly.
watched Scream.
You know who the killer slash killers are, right? So I think that going into like the Scary Movie franchises, you're just kind of like, are they gonna do a parody of the same killers, or will it be like new killers? And that's yeah, they do such a great job with it.
Yeah, they really do. And I think it's because they genuinely take from the source material versus recreating something that was already done, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like, I think for like when you watch Scary Movie 1, you truly feel like you're watching Scream 1. And it's just different casts, different like the stupid things that are going on. But down to like how it opens and um Billy going into her bedroom and her like flashing him, and in Scary Movie it's like the man boobs or whatever it was.
Carmen Electra. Oh my God.
Like, yeah, and then you have like Carmen Electra who has an arsenal of weapons laying on a table and she grabs a banana. And but it still gives you the feel of that first shocking opening kill because again, she's one of the bigger names that are in that first
Mm-hmm.
movie. And so
At
just like
that
how
time. At that
yeah,
time.
and for sure. And then like when you had Scream, you brought in Drew Barrymore, who at that time was one of the biggest stars of that movie, and then you kill her off. So like they know what they're doing basically, and I agree with what you said, and I love that about that franchise that it's not just Like they're not just taking a popular horror movie and spinning it to a comedy. Like they're directly ripping from the source material, which is
Exactly.
cool.
So, hey, if you're going to redo this, we're going to say it again. First off, you have to have the Wayne brothers involved because they are the masterminds of it. You
Absolutely.
have to make the comedy, don't be afraid of the comedy, make the comedy slap. And then three, please have the original cast members in it. That's all. Those are the three things you got to do to make the Scary Movie 6 successful. Six successful. How about that?
Oh, mic drop. See, if I had like the
Hashtag six successful.
done. That's it. That's the hashtag of this episode. Successful. Um, I also saw. Please tell me that you have seen Happy Death Day.
Yes, yes.
Uh, one and two.
I don't know if I saw two, but I definitely saw one. I loved one.
Okay, so here we go with the rumor mill again. It's turning. Supposedly, they want to do like part three,
Okay.
and I need it. That's all I'm gonna say. I need it. Happy Death Day is one of the funniest horror comedies like of this generation, and it's because of how witty it is and still true to the horror for me. Like,
Mm-hmm.
because there were times in that first movie where I was tense and I was like, oh, like what's gonna happen? Where is he? Where? And then you have this like comedic aspect of like Groundhog's Day,
Yes.
and then done with a fucking killer with a baby like a baby doll head mask. It was like, it truly, would it scare me in real life? Absolutely, for more reasons than one. But I try to think of like if I'm in that situation, right? At the same time, I think I would just be like, do you need to talk to someone? Like, are you okay?
Yeah.
Like, you chose, and I know it was like it's the school mascot or whatever, but still, I'm like, you chose this giant baby doll,
So weird.
and
But also that reminds me of if you've seen the movie Totally Killer that came out last year.
yes,
And that's kind of like that where it is a horror film, but it's also a comedy. So there are sort of with the mixture of horror and comedy, I feel like with horror it has, especially with Scream, has like those funny aspects into it. And then you have the scary movie, which is just slapstick all the way. And then there's like those movies in the middle where it's like Happy Death Day and also Totally Killer, where it is a scary movie, but you totally know it's a comedy.
totally. I just had to. Um, yes, for sure. And I lean into those movies more than I thought I originally would. Um, Not to say that I'm not like a comedy lover. Everyone loves a good comedy, but I am definitely like, I want to see someone's head being sliced off before I want to see someone fall in love in Paris. Um, and so I never really thought that I would lean into comedic horror like Happy Death Day, Totally Killer. I think it's called Freaky. Have you seen Freaky?
Yes, of course.
So good. Like, and I'm saying it now and I'm putting it into the universe. I'm manifesting in whatever airwaves that I can manifest into right now. That we need a Happy Death Day and Freaky crossover
Ooh.
where Tree, and I forget the character's name in Freaky, but they need to meet because I think that would be so cool. Kind of like a clash of worlds and like some multiverse kind of thing. I think that would be really fun to see on screen.
I agree. Oh, that would be good. Because Groundhog's Day meets Freaky Friday meets horror.
Like,
Love.
come on. Like, come on. I think that would be so. Even if they leaned heavily into like the Freaky Friday aspect and had Tree switch bodies with this girl, and now this girl has to deal with what Tree's dealt with, and now Tree has to deal with another serial killer coming after this girl, would be cool too.
Yeah,
Oh
I'm
my
down
god.
for it.
Yeah, ew, like copyright me if anyone is listening to this and is thinking about, oh, what would this movie be? This is copywritten material right here. So if you steal it, I will know. If the
Copyright.gov. We're gonna take it
yes,
there.
yes, because if the movie comes out, I'm coming for you. And I don't know how to sue people, but Google is my best friend, and I will find you, and I will do it.
Also, I have to ask, what is your favorite scary movie? Just kidding. No, what is your favorite scary movie quote?
Oh, okay. Are there like aspects to this question? Like,
No,
is it like of the 2000s of this type of
no.
generation? Okay, damn. Mm. I mean, oh my God. First of all, great question. No one's ever asked me that, and I am going to use that now in future episodes. So when I start making money, you will get a cut. Um, what's my favorite scary movie quote? I have one of like recent generations, I
Which
guess.
is,
So it's from Scream 5, and it's at the end of
you
the
mean Scary
film.
Movie 5? Oh, I'm talking about Scary Movie.
Oh, you're talking about scary movie
Scary
like
Movie,
quote?
Scary Movie. I'll tell you mine because mine. I mean, I do love um, oh, Scary Movie 1. Brenda, of course. I love when they're talking about Buffy, and they're saying,
Oh
"Oh, she's
yeah.
faker. She's faker than press-on nails." Oh, hey, baby girl.
Or when she's like, with a backup dancer. A backup dancer.
She doesn't love herself.
Um okay, so favorite quote of scary movies? I thought you just meant like scary movie and like any horror movie.
Oh no, I'm talking Scary Movie, Scary Movie.
Mine is gonna be yeah, that makes it a lot easier. Mine is gonna be this white bitch is messing up my floor. When she comes out the
Yes,
TV.
yes, I love that one too.
When she
I,
comes out the TV, she's
it's
like,
always Brenda. You know what's funny? It's always Brenda. Like Cindy has some like quotable. What does Cindy say? Sorry, Grandma. She throws the
oh
grandma
yeah.
downstairs. That one's hilarious. But also when she's with her boyfriend in Scary Movie 1, and he's like, I like it dirty. She's like, I'm gonna fart in your mouth.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Like, oh, I really want to know like the writers' room. I'm just like, who's coming up with these quotes? Who is who's writing this? I mean, it's the Wayans brothers clearly, but like, where where does that sense of humor come from? Because it is genius,
It
and I
really
love
is.
it.
I would love to see like the first ever table read of the script for Scary Movie
Right?
1, like for real. Um, but I think it's yeah, that one. And I actually have a second one. It's the same exact scene, and it's Brenda again. But honestly, that whole scene is my favorite out of the entire franchise. But when it's like the TV pops on and she's like, Cindy, the news is on. Another little white girl done fell down the well, and everybody wants to know what's going on, or whatever it
Yes,
is. Oh my
it's so
God.
good.
That for
Ugh.
me is definitely my favorite scene, my favorite quote, my favorite everything of that franchise, like for sure. And I know it has a lot of standout moments, but for me, I die every single time, even with like what leads up to that one scene where they're in the kitchen and she's pranking her over and over and over again. And then she's just like laughing at the end of it. She's like, got you. I'm like, damn, girl, like once was enough. She pranked her like 4 times and then ends up in the living room with the girl from the well. Like, it's gold. It's gold.
Then also Scary Movie 2 with my germs, my germs.
Oh my God, yes.
My germs and take the good hand is like those are the that's the best quote.
Yes. And I won't say everything that is said from it, but I will say I think the bird, I think it's a parrot from the second movie,
Yes.
is one of the greatest characters again in a franchise I've ever seen because it was so rude and it was so mean and so nasty and like it I don't know. I think that scene when he's arguing with Shorty, I think that was the character's name.
Hmm.
When they're arguing, it's just gold, gold. And I think that's what like we were talking about earlier with like the sixth film and like them making sure to bring that type of humor back, like
Yes.
where they're just gonna go there, like if it's and obviously within boundaries of like common sense, but I think I just think it needs to go there and not even really to compare it because they're two completely different things, but it reminds me of like South Park. And to me, because of like today's climate and today's society with like how everyone thinks and feels and reacts to things, I feel like South Park has really toned itself down, which is why I don't really watch it anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm from the era where like, yeah, they said these words that are offensive, but it's like no one ever took it so personally. And I think
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like these movies did that with horror. They didn't take themselves seriously. They didn't take anything too serious and too personal. And I think at the time that they were around and they came out, we were all for it. Like everyone was like, hell yeah, we're in like what? An economic crisis. Like this, like whatever, things are crashing. There's these
Yeah.
all these big events, and it was a moment where people were able to like just get away and sit for
And
a
laugh.
movie and laugh and not like be
So,
offended.
question for your listeners out there. Comment down below wherever you're listening that from this amazing podcast. What is your favorite scary movie moment or quote?
Oh yeah, I definitely want to know that. So put it
Question
there.
mark.
I'm gonna put it in the like Instagram caption too, like comment on the Instagram post, whatever it is. But I definitely want to know that. And just to be clear, we are talking about the scary movie franchise, not scary
Yes.
movies in general. Like I
Yes.
idiotically took it.
Yes. Do you hear my dog barking?
I do, and I'm actually surprised mine isn't, so I'm not gonna jinx it.
Wonderful.
um, Now though that we brought that up, because I do want to know, like, as far as horror movie in general, what is your favorite horror movie quote?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I know it's why I
Oh,
thought it
that's
was
a
the one you asked me.
oh. I know, I know. Um, actually, Scream. I think Scream. What is it? Tate's character. She's like, Sydney, how's the book or something like that. Bam,
Oh
boom, bam, bitch went down. I
yeah,
just love that quote.
that's Miss Tatum Riley.
Yes, yes, Miss Rose McGowan. Bam, bitch went down. Which was again parodied in Scary Movie One. She's like, your mother was a whore,
Oh
and
yeah.
she just like punches her in the face.
Oh my god! And then we have the scene in the room where like it's almost mirror for shot of the
Oh
original
my
movie too,
god.
and then you have oh my god, Doofus. That was his name,
Doofus?
right?
Doofy.
Doofy, but she called
Yo, we
him
got
Doofus.
Doofy. Yes. Oh.
Oh my
Mom
god.
also said stop sticking your dick in the vacuum.
Yes. And then he comes running in because he's like, "I told you to not to bother me when I'm cleaning my room." Like it was
Oh,
just, it was a time. It was a time.
it really
Um,
was a good time.
it's so funny because I think my favorite horror movie quote as well is from the Scream franchise, just a different part. I think mine right now, and I don't know if it's because it's my hashtag secret obsession with Melissa Barrera, but her character's quote in Scream 5 at the end when she's like, have you seen Scream 5? BT dubs?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Of course, yes.
Okay, because I was gonna spoil the ending, and I was like, I
No.
don't wanna. Um, when she's fighting Richie, and he's telling her like the rules or whatever, and she's like, "Oh, I made up a new rule or something like that," and it's like never fuck with the daughter of a serial killer, and then just like
Uh-huh.
wails on him. I don't know what it is about that quote, that moment, the way she just like viciously kills him, but it's one of my favorites. And I think it's also because it reminds me of like it's almost borderline cheesy, where like we had those in the OGs and like the original movies where it's like any last words and they're like, yeah, fuck you. You know, like that kind of stuff. So for me, I think that's why I liked it, but because it has that like just a little bit of cheese in it. But it's also like, yeah, like I would never fuck with the daughter of a serial killer. Like who would?
Exactly. Exactly.
Like
No,
who
exactly.
would? If you know anything about psychology, a lot of things get passed down through genetics, and I think I would stay away from that person. I would not want to. No, I'm okay with
I
that.
will also, you know what? I will also quote from my favorite series, Friday the 13th, Crazy Ralph. You're all doomed.
Oh my
Doomed.
god, yes. I actually just watched
Also,
that.
same, you can also quote the same, Pamela Voorhees. His name was Jason. And
Oh
today is his
my
birthday.
gosh.
And I feel like Freddy Krueger can also be, you know, quoted as well.
Yeah, it's like,
What's a good like Freddy Krueger quote?
welcome to my world, bitch. I mean,
Listen,
I
Freddy is sassy,
that's the one that I think of when I think of.
right? Freddy is sassy.
Yeah, he really is. He's definitely the sassiest of them all, honestly.
Oh my gosh.
We love Freddy though. I'm hoping for a return.
Yeah, but we're probably gonna see a return of Scary Movie 6, and again, they better do it right, or I'm not paying for
True.
it.
Yeah, no, I mean I have AMC stubs A list, so like I do pay for it, but like whatever. um yeah, I mean I think we touched on the horror comedy genre. And what else? Oh,
No,
really quick.
I totally think we did. And also, I just want to say congratulations again on your podcast. I've had so much fun being on it, and you just really are doing a great job. So, your love of horror definitely shows. And yeah, it's just I can't wait to see what other topics of conversation for horror movies on this pod you will be talking about in the future.
Oh my God, you are the sweetest person ever. Can you just also mention that I'm not paying you to say anything on this podcast just so people know that it's, No, I'm kidding.
No, you are not.
I am.
Was I supposed to get some?
I don't know. I mean, I had my assistant's assistant of the assistant like mail them out, so they might be lost, but yeah, maybe soon. um, but no, yeah, thank you so much again for doing this. I feel like we always have so much fun, and it's just very natural for us. And we obviously both share a love for horror and share similar opinions and quote unquote beliefs of the horror genre and community itself. So thank you for being here again. I'm excited as well for season two. Thank you for everything that you said. It was really sweet. Again, I did not pay him, just so everyone knows. But yeah, this is the close of season one. This was a lot of fun. I never thought I'd even get past episode one, to be honest. I never thought I'd even do it, but it's been crazy. It's a lot more work than I thought it would be. I will say that, but the work is what makes it fun, getting to talk to mid-May, just kind of taking some time off and going on vacation, and then I just want to breathe a little bit. But we'll be back. I'll be back for sure, and you'll be
And
back.
to quote Scream, I'll be right back.
And that is what you don't say when you want to survive a horror movie. And I think I'll end it on that note. Thank you again, Matt, so much. And yes, everyone remember to stay spooky. Bye, Matt.